learning in organizations and learning as adults somehow becomes so different, because as a child, as a student in Europe, we have here these legislations that we have a certain age until we will have to go to school to. So in a sense, there's no choice there. At some point, at least in the Netherlands, we get to choose our courses. We get to choose maybe a school or a particular type of topics. However, that we have to be there is a given. And then as adults, I feel that we are learning when we are choosing to do new skills and hobbies, and we are learning at work. And then there is a lot of things we kind of have to learn because our company is changing, the environment is changing, there's new systems going to be rolled out. So in, the change management field, we are thinking of these questions. And what's so interesting about that for me is that when we're speaking about change and that people have resistance to change and where these resistance might come from, or that it's hard for people to change, it's always interesting for me that it's hard for people to change. Because perhaps I'm very adaptive. So maybe that's why I'm in this field, because I'm so curious. Why is it so hard for people to change? Because in a sense, change is happening all the time. The only constant is change, That's from Taoism, that life is like water. The only constant is change. And so I guess the resistance comes from not wanting it. So that's the opposite of a choice, because when you want something and you choose for it, then things go easy. Maybe not effortlessly. Maybe you still have to get new information or sharpen your blade and, But yeah, when learning becomes a choice, I feel isn't that the only way? Because when you are forced to do something or learn something, or you have learned something from fear, have you really learned something? Or have you just learned to prevent the negative consequence from happening, but you have not really internalized it? I don't know. That might be a whole different discussion. Yeah, but learning from high receptivity, such a different experience. And I think that's for me the word effortless still comes in, because when you're curious about something, almost the next question comes effortlessly, because you want to continue in it. You want to dig deep. You want to know more. You want to experience more. There's just this resolution of confusion. So, I think I've really learned how to speak out my confusion. Oh, I don't understand. Or that's really confusing. Could you tell me more? Or, sometimes I'm even in a space where I'm so confused that I don't know what's the next question to ask. I just have to try to piece things together and see what's this frame that we're talking from. So in my master's, I had an amazing person, Yasmin. She would speak out her confusion. And initially I thought, wow, there's a lot of confusion for her there. And sometimes it was annoying. I will tell you that. And then I really started to see it as a superpower. And especially that, we're all connected. And perhaps that confusion I didn't share, but other confusions I did share. So to have a person to speak to this, perhaps in that sense, collective confusion, and to get to the resolve of, understanding how this fits together, I think it's so beautiful because, confusion is just another way of having hurdles in between you and effortless flow, between you and ease. And when speaking about change and change management and learning in HR organizations, I think what we're trying to achieve is we're talking about behavior change. And behavior is value driven or is also automatic, perhaps on automatic values. So if you want that to change, which is often the case, right? And you want to go around the resistance. More new knowledge doesn't help it to solve it. So there's this thing of, some people are pushing. Don't push. Please don't push people. I don't understand to push people. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to push people. Both for yourself, because you're trying to use fuel that you don't have in the long term and you will burn out. These people become even more heels in the sand and don't do this to me. Don't tell me what to do. Or they will do it and they're becoming submissive and they now are in this position in an oppression. Yeah, for me, the only way is empowerment. And that starts with self-empowerment and that works into empowerment of other people. And somehow, perhaps, when people aren't curious. I think people are inherently curious, but perhaps they have learned how to not be curious, or they haven't been in spaces where they're allowed to be curious and to speak out their confusion, to speak out their curiosity. We have kind of made it normal to say, there's no stupid questions. Yes, and however, people could still have the feeling of, these questions are not allowed here. We need to go to the next agenda point. There's actually no space for unpacking this because we are on a timeline. We need to perform. We need to reach these objectives. Actually, oftentimes when I'm in a meeting and let's say on a very rare occasion, the person actually holding the meeting, they need to leave earlier. And then you have open space and the best things come out. And already I feel the softness again in my voice. And then it's just, it's a relaxation into things. And then there comes up things that feel that it's not important enough to reach the agenda. But it is. It is, because it's alive for the people in part of this meeting, part of these projects, part of the organization, part of the people that want to learn, need to learn, and bring things forward. Yeah. It's in this softness, in this receptivity, in the yin, in the no need to reach resolution, no need to reach a goal. Hey, let's bring this up. I had this thought, I had this observation. I'm actually a little bit stuck here. It's not bad, but yeah. It's a softening to learn. We need to soften up and be vulnerable and allow for the silence perhaps also to happen. For us to crack open and to have this marinated seed and soaked seed to be able to crack open. And there's different speeds to where that happens. So to create spaces where all people can share. That's incredible. So how could you somehow infuse the qualities of an amazing dialogue, a transformative dialogue, into a space with multiple people, into a classroom, into a conference, into a workshop space? Yeah, how could you extrapolate these qualities of the transformative dialogue and turn it into transformative learning, turn it into behavior change, turn it into creating thriving organizations? Yeah, something like that.